Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot, we charge you a little. So naturally, when they announced they'd be raising their prices due to inflation, we decided to deflate our prices due to not hating you. That's right. We're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
The number one selling product of its kind with over 20 years of research and innovation. Botox Cosmetic, onabotulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know, to check you have the tickets in your wallet first before you drive 2 hours to the big game. Seriously, you had one job. Now the closest you'll get to the 50-yard line is parking lot D. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Kroger Delivery has one mission: to deliver the freshest food right to your door. That's why our drivers are pros. Our trucks are refrigerated. And when it comes to low prices, we always deliver. With $20 off your first order of $75 or more, there's no better time to get in on the action. Mission accomplished. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX. J-Way. I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless. I'm gone. Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck. Give me that. To the trends.
Welcome to Bleachers and Speakers. I'm your host, June, and we are at our NFC North Division chat with my co-host. Before they get a chance to introduce themselves, I want to remind everyone to subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube and check us out on your podcast aggregators. Just type in Bleachers Speakers FFSN. Follow us. Make sure that notification bell is on, so when we drop content, you'll be able to get an alert, download those episodes. I am with my NFC North comrades. I'll let them introduce themselves and let them tell you where you can listen to their shows, because they have some really dope stuff. Yeah, I'll let y'all tell it. Dave, how you doing, bro?
Hey, doing great. It's another week in Vikings land, and you can find all the Vikings talk you ever want to find over at Vikings First and Skol. YouTube, podcasters, aggregators, everywhere. You can find the stuff. We just got finished talking about how a trade to get Cam Robinson might just take us all the way to the Super Bowl.
Okay. Pay. You have any trades that's going to take you guys to the Super Bowl? You're muted.
Is it too late in the season to trade for a coach?
Introduce yourself.
If not, then you're just gonna have to check us out at the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel, where we're talking Bears, Bulls, sometimes Sox, Cubs, any of the other teams that raises our blood pressure. As of right now, it's Bears season, and we're still trying to digest the latest calamity that happened on Roosevelt and Lakeshore Drive.
Okay. I'm sure we're going to get into that at some point. Foster.
I'm introducing myself. I'm one half of Bleachers to Speakers, where we cover everything Detroit sports: Tigers, Pistons, Lions, and yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds fun. It's a very riveting introduction there, Foster. We're going to talk about let's see. Let's talk about
Oops, did I do
last weekend. Foster, what did you just do?
Oh my god, my bad. I'm like, why is it showing?
Yeah, I wonder. See, this is why two people can't run the show. This is exactly why. If you're listening, you'd have to watch to know what we're talking about. And you can watch this at Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube. Tim Lyon says, yo, guys, what's up, Tim? Fellas, last week, football. Me and Foster talk about us last. But you had a game Thursday night, Dave, last Thursday?
Yes, we did.
Let's talk about it. What happened? Who'd you play?
We played the Los Angeles Lambs, and we went out to a 14-0 lead as per normal this season. And then everything seemed to break down, including Christian Darrisaw later in the game got his knee rolled up on, and bada boom, bada bing. We found out the next day it's ACL, MCL. He's out for the season. And for those that don't know, Christian Darrisaw is one of the top 3 left tackles in the league, and number 3 isn't the number. He is very crucial part of the team, and he will be sorely missed. The Vikings went on to not score in the second quarter and then only settle for field goals in the second half and lose 30-20 when they shouldn't have. But it is what it is. They took their second loss of the season. They're 5-2. And then later this week, as in a couple days ago, we traded for Cam Robinson, left tackle from the Jaguars. And he will now be most likely starting this week. Now, is he as good as Darrisaw? No. But could he be still a good left tackle? Yes. And that's why the show last night on the Real Forno show speculated that it keeps our early Super Bowl window open. And maybe if we get into the playoffs, there's a chance because we held the best team. We only lost to them by 2 points a couple weeks ago. So we'll find out.
All right. Pay, you want to talk about the Bears and did you play Washington?
I don't, but since we're here for audio purposes, I will talk about those Bears. The Bears went into that week 8 in a pseudo showdown for Offensive Rookie of the Year. As you all recall, Caleb Williams was a number 1 pick of this past draft. Jaden Daniels, number 2 pick, went to the DC Commanders. The Bears had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. And as we have seen in many years, dating back to Lovie Smith, Bears come out of bye weeks flat, unprepared, and undercoached, in my opinion. And undercoached, poorly coached, those 2 words right there is the reason why they lost that game. You can say that there were some lack of discipline, and that final Hail Mary may have been the root cause, but that all goes back to bad coaching. There's been a lot of questionable calls, a lot of questionable calls coming from the offense and the defense in the last 3 minutes of that game. The Bears back to square one as of right now. Going into week 9, 4-3, they should be 5-2. The defense can no longer continue to carry the brunt of this team and continue to make the coaches look better than what they are. As of right now, if you ask me, Matt Eberflus is coaching for his job, which isn't saying a lot because he should have been fired last year. He's on his last year of his contract, but the reason why he was brought back just to be a lame duck is because he was a favorite of the locker room. He had won the locker room over. I think after this last week, I think the guys are moving away from him, and it'd be easier to get rid of him at this point.
Okay. Wow, we got to talk more about that. Yeah, that's yeah.
Our friend of the show and on the Fans First Sports Network, KT Smith, who does the Call Sheet podcast, talked about in today's show, and if you haven't checked it out, I strongly suggest you do, how Chicago may have a culture problem. Do you agree with that, Pay?
I don't know if the Bears have the culture to speak about even having a problem. Damn. I don't necessarily believe that the Bears have a losing culture. Definitely don't have a winning culture. I just think that they're just poorly coached at this point. Matt Eberflus has shown you time and time again, he's just a defensive coordinator. I do not believe that he can supervise whatsoever. Last season, multiple coaches fired in season and after the season. And then this season, he hired Shane Waldron to oversee the offense. And while I will say that there have been games in which he has called a good game, obviously the 3-game winning streak, but there has been games, this last game most notably, where it's just ridiculous play calls. Why are we handing the ball off to an offensive lineman in the goal line, in the red zone? It's crunch time. You need to get this touchdown. It's damn near do or die. And you're calling 31 give to a backup fat boy. Why? He was on the free agent. He was on waivers for a reason. And it was because he couldn't block, but you chose to give him the ball. Why? You have no shortage of running backs. Why are you giving it to an offensive lineman? Of course he's going to fumble the ball, right? Of course, right? But these are things that has to come past the ear set of Matt Eberflus. You got to know to like, hey, stop. I don't think that's a good call. Timeout. Let's run this over. Let's run this back, right? He doesn't do anything. Why are we ending games with all of our timeouts? This is lunacy. So to KT Smith, the Chicago Bears have a culture issue. What culture?
That just may be it. He says there's lack thereof. The players don't hold each other responsible. There isn't a high-low standard of excellence. It's not there. We're not demonstrated to be there.
Well,
let me read I took them.
Let me read this comment. Sean Gurley says it's easy to turn on the coach when you should have picked a different player at number 1 or traded the pick. Could you imagine Justin with Marv and an extra first or second round pick from the 24 draft? I want to say hindsight is like a perfect science.
Of course.
So I think Caleb was the safe number 1 pick.
He was the pick. No one would have took anybody different.
Yeah. So, and it's not because of what he did his senior year at USC. It was what he had been doing from his freshman year or his last year at USC. Is what he'd been doing since he was a freshman, and I was making plays and being dynamic in college every single year he played. So, yeah, I mean, who knows what you're going to get realistically? But I guess the argument is you keep Justin Fields and you get more picks, but I don't know.
Justin's not better than Caleb. That's a moot point. That's a non-starter. Justin's not better than Caleb today or when Justin came into the NFL. There's no reason to even entertain that from a logical standpoint. Caleb's not the reason the Bears are 4-3. That's not it. There's no reason to even point the conversation in his direction.
That's right. Stand by your guy there, Pay. Stick to your guns, even if they're shooting blanks. Foster, your quarterback passed for 80 yards or 85 yards, whatever the stat line was. However, the score was it was more like what Pay suggested. It was what'd you call it? A scrimmage? A bye week? Something
A drill.
like that.
Yeah. Bye week.
Something to that effect.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to see the game. I was in Aruba. I got a chance to check on the scores periodically. But Foster, tell us what happened during that game.
So you mentioned that Jared Goff had 85 yards touchdowns to go with 3 touchdowns, of course. But we just continued to flex, the how complete the team is, and we got to see how strong the special teams can be as well. They gave us a lot of short field. Goff had three touchdown passes, but David Montgomery had 1 as well. He threw a nice tight spiral to Sam Laporta. But outside of that, we got a 72-yard kick return from Dorsey. And Khalif Raymond almost broke a punt return record as far as total yards, I believe. He averaged 38 yards per punt return in 5 returns. He had one of the games of his life. He scored. He also had a receiving touchdown as well. But yeah, overall, once we got our act together early in the game, it was a little weird. Our secondary was kind of getting burned by some deep passes, but yeah, once the special teams got involved, once we took the ball away, we were pretty much in control of the ball game. We had two interceptions overall. One was Trevor Nowatzki on a Levi Onwuzurike pressure, and we overall we had 4 takeaways. We were 5 of 5 in the red zone, and we got a touchdown apiece from both of our running backs. We're actually 7-0 since 2023 when Gibbs and Montgomery both scored a touchdown. Montgomery ended up with a rushing touchdown as well as a passing touchdown. So another one of those games where we're just kind of trying things out. Ben Johnson's just seeing what is, throwing trick plays at the wall and see what sticks. And for the most part, they have been sticking. Pause.
Thank you for that. Thanks for the clarity there, folks. Hey, I want to get back to Sean. Sean Gurley writes, Caleb under 150 yards and no touchdown versus Washington, but it's not his fault. I didn't get a chance to see the game. It's just Big G is on fire. Big G is on fire. I don't know is Big G a frustrated Bears fan, or is he?
Big G is a contributor to the Steel Curtain Network on Fans First Sports Network.
It makes sense.
Okay. He's one of the homies that I that I do the show with on Friday. And Big G knows this. He's known me. He's family. He knows me. He knows I don't entertain box score arguments for football. The only time I do it is fantasy football, which he's not better than me at. So
okay. Now you mentioned something, Pay, and I think it's kind of not a debate, but I just had a difference in opinion. I was always saying that you stick with Justin. I think Justin Fields is better than Caleb right now. I don't know how he'll be later. I would project that Caleb will be better than Justin Fields later on, but as of right now, I think Justin Fields is the better quarterback. Now, would I have drafted Caleb with Justin number 1? If I wanted to go a different direction, maybe. But I don't think Justin was the reason for any shortcomings last year, because I seen that monster when he went crazy versus us, and I saw the potential. So maybe you have something to follow up with what I'm saying, to rebuttal what I'm saying, but I just thought Justin Fields was on his way. But if you're looking towards the future and you drafted Caleb, then I can get that.
Well, yeah, that's the biggest reason why you move off Justin, go get Caleb. It's the financial aspect of it, right?
Right.
Justin Fields is moving into his 4th season, and he has to, it's about time to pay him. Caleb Williams, you can reset the clock. If that's your full argument, you make that chance. I mean, you make that switch 10 out of 10 times, right? Justin Fields hasn't shown you in the 3 years he was a starter that he is a franchise quarterback. He's shown you he has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
He's shown you that the ceiling is there. It's pretty high if you can tap into it. But he's also showing you that he's incredibly inconsistent, and that he's a fantastic athlete, fantastic locker room guy, fantastic kid. Nothing, there's a lot of quarterbacks that I can drag that's been a Chicago Bears quarterback, not him. But, I wish him all the best in his next stops. But Caleb is better than him in almost every facet, outside of making athletic plays with his legs.
Right. Let's get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about the week coming up. Let's do that. I don't know anybody else's schedule for the upcoming week, but I know Detroit faces the Packers in Green Bay, and I'll get some insight from you, Foster, after I hear from Dave and Pay on who they're playing. Who you got this week, Dave?
We have the Colts. We got flex to Sunday night.
Oh, you get to play against Flacco.
Yes, we do.
Because they benched the other quarterback, Richardson.
Yes, they did. And I'd rather play Richardson than Flacco. But, hey, it is what it is. We host them. It is moved to Sunday night prime time, which frees up the noon hour for a game I desperately want to watch, which is Kirk Cousins versus the Dallas Cowboys and Mike Zimmer. It's wonderful. I get to watch that. It's going to be a revenge game. I think Mike Zimmer is going to absolutely destroy him, but we'll see. But we play on Sunday night. We're the last game of the division playing. And like I said, it's against the Colts. We're 5.5 point favorites right now. So should be interesting. They are 4-4. They can win games. So we'll find out.
Did this guy just call him Eberloose? It's hilarious.
Eberloose.
Now, my gosh.
Now, what is going to be interesting about this game is we have TJ Hawkinson back. He will be starting.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back, TJ. Welcome back.
It's been a long time.
Just missed out on National Tight Ends Day.
Yep.
Thanks, Pay. You really know how to make the moment better. Who you got this week, Pay?
I like Minnesota in this game. They've taken 2 consecutive L's, but we both no. I don't think the Colts have seen the Pistons, not Pistons, but the Lions yet, right? The Colts are the worst team in the league with a winning record. That's they're pretty. I don't know any. I can't say anything positive about them. There's no superlative that aligns with them and what they've put out there on the field. Jonathan Taylor, he's been hurt but he's still on IR, right? I don't think he's been cleared yet. Anthony Richardson's the worst quarterback in the league.
Except for deep passes.
Yeah, except for when he can throw for 80 yards to Alec Pierce. Other than that, everything else miraculously falls short. I don't know what it is. If it's 10 yards away from him, it's going to hit his feet. Their defense isn't all that great as well. I can't imagine a scenario in which the Colts will be successful against the Vikings unless you got some more magic out of the old guy. I would just say this: Minnesota. Yeah,
I'm worried about Flacco.
To make sure. Yeah, Flacco. He still got some juice. He can still make some things happen. So don't take it too lightly. There's enough tape out there for Flacco. He's been playing since 1986. I think he came in the same draft class as Joe Theismann. So you got enough tape.
Wow.
Do not take it lightly.
But, I was all excited that Brian Flores would just totally mess with Richardson's mind. But we're not getting a chance because the owner, and we all assume it's Irsay, and the owner said, nope, Flacco's the starter here on out. So,
yeah. Foster, what's your take on the Vikings and Colts matchup?
Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity for the Vikings to get back on the board. I haven't paid a lot of attention to the Colts. I know they won. Did they beat the Bears?
No,
they did.
No.
Oh, they did?
They did.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they beat them, but it was like close. Or I think it was close.
It was a close game. The Bears have played all close games. That one was a close one. I think the Bears lost by 6, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think they got close. I think they scored late to make it a little bit closer. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a good opportunity for the Vikings to get back rolling. Is that game in Minnesota or Indy? I missed that part.
It's in Minnesota.
They host. Yeah, it's in Minnesota.
It's in Minnesota, so
it's going to be 28-0 first quarter.
Just based on the way how they start. Yeah,
they start off fast, and against a weak team, it's liable to be 28-35 first half.
But they have a winning record though. That's what he said.
They do. They're 4-3.
4-4.
4-4. Oh, that's right. They did lose last week.
Yeah,
500. Yeah. So I don't know.
But they did have a winning record.
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy. All right. Pay who y'all got? I'm sorry.
I was trying to double back with Dave. Dave, you said Irsay made this call to bench Anthony Richardson and bring in Flacco?
That's what I'm getting. Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting. One of the rare sober decisions from Irsay.
Wow. Wow.
That the coach was basically told this is what's going to be happening. And it's Flacco here on out.
Here on out. Wow. That's bold.
Mm-hmm. Now, hey, when have you ever heard of a quarterback going, hey, coach, take me out. I need a breather.
The first thing I thought about when I heard that's what he did and what he said, like, that's crazy because an offensive lineman can't do that. I've never seen an offensive lineman come out because they're tired, and they are probably the least conditioned out of everybody on the field outside of the punter.
They're carrying the most weight.
Yeah, exactly. They're not the athletic guys. They're the big burly guys, and they play. Every snap they're hitting somebody. They don't have to hand the ball off and just stand away. They
could play hurt on I'm gonna just pretend like
they probably could, but how often is that though? You rarely see an offensive lineman go. If they go out, they're probably gone for the game. You don't see an offensive lineman get out and come right back to the next play or the next series. They're usually out for a while, but and that's a rare occasion, when they do get out. But I couldn't help but think about offensive linemen like. They don't get a chance to, take me out.
They don't run full sprint though. Ever.
Oh, that's not necessarily true.
When they're what do you call that? When they kind of,
they're giving 100% effort on every play. Now, if they're if they're moving left to right, doing zone blocking or whatever, they're moving. They're only accelerating for 5 yards or whatever, but on a screen they may be accelerating further.
And that's not full speed.
It's still more to it than running. They're pushing.
They're pushing and pulling. It's a power deal.
Yeah.
Hey, you got it. You got to haul ass on the pull. You got to come on.
Oh yes. It's a big deal. And you're right, they don't. Unless there's an equipment failure or they are actually hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking, or they're actually injured, not just hurt, but injured. They're not coming off the line. If you look at everybody's box scores and you look at how many reps, your offensive linemen are playing all of the offensive reps. There's no, hey, breather, take me out, coach. There's no, moving in and keeping people fresh. There's none of that.
Punts, field goals, they're in there.
Mm-hmm. And to have a quarterback do it, it's unheard of.
That's your captain. That's who you're looking up to. So I don't know. I mean,
a little too honest in my opinion, because he could have said anything.
That's exactly what I said. Like he's getting killed for being honest.
Said, I'm
he
tired.
could have easily limped to the sideline or went over there and said, "Hey, I got a problem with my equipment or my shoulder, something," and this thing goes away. But him being honest,
you
he's
get in
getting
trouble
killed for being honest. Yeah.
You get in trouble for calling into the job and just saying, "Hey, I'm not coming in today," and they ask you why. They say, "I just don't feel like it." No. You need a better excuse than that, buddy. The union can't help you out of that one.
Yeah. I mean, he could have went off of cramps, anything.
Mm-hmm.
But he just said, I was just tired. Yeah, I was tired. I did a lot of running those first two plays. And it's like, wow. And he's getting killed for his transparency.
NFL is different, man. Nowadays, anyway.
Well, as Tim said, he's soft. And I'm sure his O-linemen are calling him soft.
Yeah, O-linemen.
I have never seen that before. Like, never. And I've seen running quarterbacks. I've never seen that.
And from a team captain, no.
Is he a cat? Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't even play last year, did he? I know he played a little bit, but
he got hurt. He got hurt in the fifth game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, shoulder.
Is a QB being captain? That's pretty standard, right?
It's pretty standard.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it made him look soft.
He was tired.
Hey.
Next thing he'll be doing is painting his fingernails.
Wow.
He already does
painted fingernails. Who does the Bears play this week?
The Bears are going out west to play the Arizona Cardinals, guys.
Okay.
One of my favorite stadiums in the NFL. I forget the name of the stadium that the Cardinals play in. It's over there in Westgate. That portion of Phoenix, beautiful stadium, beautiful area, in my opinion. Listen, the Bears got to shake this off. They lost a terrible game. I would like to believe that they put this one behind them and come out fired up and ready to, serve notice to the Arizona Cardinals, who are actually leading their division. If playoffs started today, they'll be in. They're not a great team, but they're a tough team. They're not somebody you can just push over, right? They've beaten the San Francisco 49ers. They've lost some terrible games. So what type of team that the Cardinals are is to be determined. So that means you need to go in there and, throw your weight around. You don't treat them like they're poo-poo. Don't treat them like they're the 2011 in New England Patriots and anything like that. Just go in there and serve notice. Do what you're supposed to do. However, like one of the commenters said, we got this stench on this team coming from the coaching staff. I'm tired of every week saying, you know what, this loss is on us. Listen, how about you stop having losses being on you? How about you start coaching this squad up correctly? Kevin Byard had to call you out and say, hey, look, man, that stuff you called, the lack of calling timeouts, that stuff is not good. It's unbecoming for a winning coach. And that's exactly why Matt Eberflus is like 10 games on the 500 and not even 3 years as a Bears coach. I would like I said, right now DraftKings has the Bears as a 1-point dog going into Arizona. We gotta go ahead and play our game. I expect a bounce back from the offense, other than what they put out last week. It wasn't our best performance. from the offense as a total. I mean, as a unit, we had that one big play from DeAndre Swift. But other than that, everyone from Shane Waldron on down, offensive coordinator to the last guy on the offense, everybody has to play better. The defense, I need Tyreek Stevenson to keep his head in the game the entire game. 60 minutes. For 60 minutes, DeAndre Stevenson, can you not get any flags? Can you not get called for unnecessary roughness? Can you not get handsy with anybody? Can you not jaw jack with people in the stands? I need you to focus. You already know they're not throwing the ball at Jalen Johnson. The ball's coming to you, bro. Focus. Make a play. You are on watch. Make a play because
knock it down.
You need to knock somebody out this week. I'm tired I'm tired of everybody coming at you. You need to do something.
I had heard his responsibility on that play was to block out the tip guy. And he didn't do that because he was late and he tried to knock it down instead and he tipped it up.
It's the reverse. So Kevin Byard stepped up to make a play on the ball. His responsibility is to box out, as basketball play. As the safety, that's his responsibility. Tyreek Stevenson, for 4 seconds, got his back to the play, waving at the stands or doing whatever the hell he's doing.
I think
he comes over late. Yeah, he comes over late. And now him and Kevin Byard at the same point making a play on the ball, and there's a guy behind him, just waiting on gifts. It's not even Christmas time.
Not yet, anyways.
It's on the way.
Sometimes it comes early.
Foster, what do you think about this matchup between the Bears and the Cardinals?
This might be I don't want to call it a revenge game, but we did kind of talk about Marvin Harrison possibly being drafted by the Bears, and he gets an opportunity to show them why he should have been drafted by the Bears. So it creates an interesting storyline, kind of out of nothing. I don't know. It's probably nothing, but yeah. But the Bears obviously have a chip on the shoulder after losing a game that they should have won. And Caleb, he's played on the West Coast for a couple of years, so he should feel real comfortable on that side of town. And no easy wins in this league, and especially on the road. So I don't know. I think it could go either way.
Okay, Dave, what do you think?
I think the Bears, if they're Eberflus and the coaching staff, get them together this week, do the proper discipline, do the proper pull your heads out, and you hear a big popping sound from Alice Hall, they should go down there and win. But I was hoping they'd win last week and then put the Vikings in last place, and then we could say we're the best division with the worst team being 5-2. But it didn't happen. The worst team happens to be the Bears. And hopefully they'll pull out the win. I'm rooting for the Bears, and I'm rooting for the Lions this week.
Really?
Oh, hell yes.
Really? The Packers. We'll play the Packers. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's interesting, considering a loss would, put everybody pretty much closer together as far as the standings. But that's interesting.
Except for the Packers who played one more game. They haven't had their bye yet.
Yeah. Right. Which brings us to this week's matchup, the Lions versus the Packers. And I don't believe the hype. I believe Jordan Love will play. Not believing anything he said earlier in the week, that it's a possibility that he will. It's not impossible for him not to be there. So
he was supposedly practicing today, I thought I saw.
Yeah. So I believe he'll be there. I believe he'll start. And Dave, I'll let you talk about the matchup first, and then we'll just go around the room. Lions versus Packers. What you think?
First off, hat tip to the Lions. In the last 3 out of the 4 games, they've scored at least 42 points. Last week, scoring 52 by 3 quarters is amazing. Throwing a 50 burger up in 3 quarters. It's just, your offense is humming. I'm hoping that you go in there, and I fully expect you to, and it's in Green Bay, isn't it? Yes. Go up to Lambeau and hopefully obliterate them and score 40-plus points, and then have them crying and weeping in their beer by the third quarter.
The pressure. It's pressure. Hey, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the thing you need to pay attention to mostly, I mean, if you want to put a little action on this game, whether or not Jordan Love plays. Now, the Packers do have a bye week next week, so it wouldn't be crazy for them to sit Jordan Love this week so they can get an extra. He misses one game but gets 2 weeks of rest for that groin injury. So it's not outside of the realm of possibility that you end up playing Malik Willis this week, Dave. I'm not Dave, but
Gotcha.
June and I agree.
June and But with that said, you've seen Jordan Love and the Packers rush back out there to action, so you really don't know. Whatever happens, you're going to have a reduced Packers offensive effort. I don't care if Jordan Love plays; he's still hurt. He's still hurt from the NCL injury. He hasn't had a bad season up to this point, but it ain't the season that's worth $75 million guaranteed, right? It ain't that type of $75 million signing bonus. And he's not performing up to that standard to what his contract is. He's favoring some of his throws. Some of his throws are not set on the right foot, right? Because he's still hurt. And now that groin just makes everything else. We hypothesized yesterday on the Pay Dirt show that maybe he's overcompensating. And this just will end up to another lower body injury later on in the season. I don't want to wish injuries on anybody, but the Packers, moving on. But I think for the Lions, he also got to distill another phrase from one of the commenters: "Don't play with your food." The Lions are the Packers are going to have a reduced offensive output, no matter who the quarterback is. So go out there, jump on them early, show them who's boss, and let's move on to week 10.
Every day, supporters like you help the American Cancer Society improve the lives of people with cancer. Help end cancer as we know it for everyone. Visit cancer.org to make a life-saving gift.
Foster, Lions versus Packers. What are your thoughts on the matchup?
Well, first and foremost, I certainly commend Jordan Love for earning his paycheck. He could very well have just kind of sat out and really fully healed himself. Like you said, he's probably still overcompensating from that MCL injury. It's as far as his season, it's kind of been a tale of two different sides of things. He's fourth in the league in touchdown passes, despite the fact that he's missed a couple weeks. But he's also tied for the most interceptions as well. So, like you said, it's not up to the standards of performance on the field, all things considered. But Malik Willis has been pretty solid in reserve for him. He's got 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and has a QB rating of 130. So not bad. And we certainly know that he would pose a dual threat for us, and we know how much we don't fare well against those type of guys. So I don't even know, 6-1, half a dozen other as far as who I want to face. But the defense is kind of middle of the pack. The one thing that kind of concerns me is their ability to take the ball away. They have Xavier McKinley and Jair Alexander in the secondary. Those guys have combined for 8 interceptions and 9 pass deflections thus far this year. So those are definitely 2 guys that you got to pay attention and be aware of. But on the offensive end, they've been pretty strong. They got a good running game. Josh Jacobs is averaging 4.5 yards per carry, and he's got 3 touchdowns. And they've been pretty balanced. Obviously, our secondary hasn't been the best this year, and we've been susceptible to giving up quite a few yards. Tucker Kraft, their tight end, has 5 touchdown passes. He's kind of come out of nowhere. I didn't even know who that man was up until this point, but he's doing wonders on my ESPN fantasy league, so I appreciate that.
Just
But yeah,
continue to brag. Just continue to brag, Foster. I see the Facebook post too, bro.
yeah. I mean, on ESPN, not my Yahoo one is not doing quite as well, but but yeah. The Packers have done a great job of taking the ball away. They're first in the league with 19 takeaways already this year, and they have a plus minus differential that's fourth in the league. And the Lions are second in the plus minus category. So we do a pretty good job of taking the ball away and protecting as well. Yeah, I think the fact that it's kind of up in the air as far as who we're going to face is kind of bodes, well for the Packers, because we have a little bit more to prepare for. But, as Dave said, we're averaging, 42 points in the last 4 games, and the offense is clicking on cylinders.
3 out of 4.
Oh, 3 out of 4. Okay. Yeah, because you guys kind of brought our average
down to 31.
Right.
And we'll be playing without the gun-toting, Viagra-taking wide receiver.
Right. Which didn't seem to affect us. Like I said, it opened up more opportunities. Tim Patrick didn't have a great game. I mean, neither did Allen Robinson, but instead, Khalif Raymond decided that he was going to have a career performance, and our special teams was going to step up as well. Laporta is getting back active. I think he had the most receiving yards, out of the 80 that Goff threw. But we got guys like David Montgomery throwing tight spirals. So who's to say who's next to throw a touchdown pass? It might be Sam Laporta. He played some quarterback in high school as well. So
yeah, it's going to spread.
I think ultimately, as long as as long as Goff continues to protect that, I don't anticipate him going passing for less than 100 yards again this week. But if so, and we still end up with 4 touchdown passes, I'll take it.
Right. So I think it'll be a tough game. Games in Lambeau are always tough, especially for the Lions. I think it's a tough task with Jordan Love in there. He's a difference maker for them. I'd rather face Malik before I replace Jordan. I'm not sure about a reduced offensive playbook from them. I just don't see that. I think most teams would tend to think that the Lions are vulnerable as far as passing. And if you're going to play Jordan Love, you're going to use his strength, and that's getting the ball downfield and spreading the ball around a little bit. So I do think they'll attack our corners if he plays. I think they'll attack the corners if Malik plays. Who knows? But we'll see. I still don't. Like I said, I haven't seen much of the Packers play this year. I just know that I've been paying real close attention to the Lions, and I think the Green Bay Packers we shouldn't fear them. We should just go in there and just play football and see what happens. I think we walk out of there with a victory. So let's take another quick break, and when we come back, we'll wrap this thing up. We'll talk about I think I got something I want to talk to you guys about, but we'll talk about it after the break. So the trade deadline, November 5th, is approaching, right? And me and Foster we've had these talks, and the position that the Detroit Lions are in, from my perspective, is yes, I think we could use some help on that defensive end. There's just no question about it. Regardless of how you look at it, we've lost 2 starters from the defensive end position for the year, right? At some point, I think you need to address defensive end help. I just don't see it happening. I think it would have happened already. But today is the 31st, and there's still a few more days. However, the Lions are in a position where they have capital. They have salary cap space. They do have draft picks. Um, they could salvage a little bit of the future with the way the team is trending up. Um, but I just don't, and I just feel like with those things being said, that there has been plenty of chances to a um, make a move. There was, I don't know if everybody's seen it, but there was a press conference when they asked Dan Campbell, and he jumps up down like, "Oh, could be," and the people are salivating about this, just that gesture, and I'm like, no, no, I think that's just a smoke screen. I think that's just a smoke screen. I think they're going to stand pat, um, and that just goes for my team. I just want to know, approaching the trade line deadline, and Dave, your team has already made some moves. So I'm gonna start off with Pay. Would you like to see your team make any kind of move realistic move before November 5th?
Oh, the deadline's on the 5th, this coming Tuesday?
Yes, sir.
Huh. It's an interesting day for a lot of deadlines.
Yes, it is.
I wonder what kind of trade can you see that would make that the front page news. Anyway, we'll get to that. Yes, if the Bears can trade for some new coaching, that'd be amazing.
Realistic trade.
Trades. Coaches get traded all the time in the NFL.
You can't trade your head coach in the middle of the season. He can get fired, but he can't get traded.
That's just because you haven't seen it before doesn't mean it can't be done. You know, I want to see Ryan Poles get inventive here, because his ass is next. So let's see. We've talked about, I want to say maybe a month ago, there's not often you see linemen get traded in season. So we was like, as Bears fans, like, well, we just got to deal with what we got. And then the Vikings go ahead and get a left tackle mid-season. One day after, not one day after, but a few days after losing their starting left tackle.
It was immediate.
Yep.
Why can't my general manager make immediate upgrades when necessary?
I feel the same way.
And the cost, no less, is brilliant. We give them
baffled.
a seventh round? No, we give them a fourth or a fifth that could be converted to a fourth based on playing time. They give us a seventh if it ends up being a fifth. It's an exchange both in 2026. Well, he's going to play this year. He's probably going to get the playing time. He is a competent left tackle. Been in the league 9 years, I think. Something like that.
Yeah.
Good, great pass blocker. Not so good at run blocking, but great pass blocker. And he turns around and he's a free agent, and we get a comp pick in 2026 for him, which may make him absolutely free, or we come out ahead. Our GM is cooking.
Yes.
Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah is just absolutely cooking. And we're not done. That's the second of the two trades that we've done. We did Cam Akers, running back that used to play for us. We used to play for the Rams. Then he was playing for the Texans. We traded for him for nothing, just a pick swap. The Bears, yeah. Why can't Brian Flores, or whatever his name is, do it?
Ryan Poles. Why can't Ryan Poles? Ryan Poles, he is very aggressive if there's a wide receiver available. Very aggressive if there's a Iowa punter available. But if you got to upgrade the offensive line, let's weigh all our options. Let's not be too hasty. I don't like that.
What about Bakhtiari? He's free now. Granted, he's broken, but he's free.
Broken might be the PG word for it. Bakhtiari should probably go ahead and put it in those papers. Yeah, that's exactly where we need the help. Caleb, Big G, he's not in the comments anymore, but You said he gave you the box score from this past week. Caleb had 150 yards passing, no touchdowns. Caleb was running for his life most of week 8. The offensive line had 3 guys go cycle in and out. On the left tackle, who would not start for majority NFL teams, our left tackle, Braxton Jones, he left the game, and it was open season on Caleb. We need an upgrade in multiple spots along that offensive line. That's the trade I was looking for. If we can get an upgrade, I know this, like, throwing a wish out there, like, that's not going to come back answered. But if that can be had, kudos. But other than that, I think we're set.
Yeah, Dave, your team has made some moves.
And we may not be done.
Well, let's talk about it. Tell us about the moves you made and what you could see before the 5th.
All right. Well, the moves we made is first we grabbed Cam Akers, like I said, running back, to come in and probably move into the number 2 spot over Ty Chandler. That's fine. Great. The reason we went through Cam Akers, re-signing him, that then he supposedly didn't pass his physical, is coming off his second Achilles injury. Houston ended up signing him. He proved he's worth at Houston. Explosive, looks 100% healthy, which is great. Modern medicine is wonderful, because back in the day, if you popped your Achilles, you were done. But now he looks as strong and explosive as ever. So he's coming back. After Darisaw went down, within days, once we had it confirmed it's MCL, ACL, boom, we went and traded for Cam Robinson of the Jags. Like I said, a starting quality left tackle. He has some injury history, and he was just coming back from a concussion this year. And the Jags had already put in another guy that they thought, we can roll with him, and they did the trade. Now, the 2 weakest points on the defense are interlinked that we have. The one, and if we fix especially one, I think this is where the Super Bowl window being open a year early helps. That's interior defensive line. We've inquired about Jeffrey Simmons from the Titans and Sexy Dexy Dexter Lawrence from the Giants. If we could swing either of those 2 guys, and they're both most likely building components for those 2 sucky teams, we'll have made the season and the trades. Now, those will cost us first-round picks and more, but we'll see. And the other position is corner. And if we can get a top-notch corner instead, young guy that's top of the deal, top of the league, then we could help with the coverage side. What we're trying to get is the interior pressure which helps coverage, or get a better coverage, which helps interior pressure or pressure on the quarterback. But we'll see how it goes. I'm not thinking Sexy Dexy or Jeffrey Simmons are coming to the Vikings. I wish I could say that, but they're just dreams of mine just right now, and the end of the fan base. We're all united on that. But we'll see. There's supposedly calls been made. Let's see if it materializes.
Okay, Foster. I don't know how much you heard. I know you had some issues over there. I was saying approaching the 5th trade line. Well, what I'd like to see versus what I think is going to happen as far as the Detroit Lions. I made my case saying we're losing 2 defensive ends, 2 starters at defensive end for the season. I feel like a trade should be made. However, I personally don't think anything's going to happen. I think they're going to stand pat, because I think if they could have done something, they would have. What are your thoughts moving towards the free agency deadline, November 5th? Do you think the Lions make a move, or how do you feel?
I mean, well, first and foremost, I appreciate the aggression and the swiftness of how the Vikings are moving with theirs situation. They wasted no time to address what they had going on. Um, I think that Brad Holmes is a little bit more gun shy when it comes to aggression in the trade department. But I mean, it just seems like there's just an insane amount of smoke towards us doing something. I would like to see something done just for the simple fact that, just to kind of hush the naysayers and the complainers, around the Detroit faithful is like, okay, you happy now? We did something. But honestly, I think that the defensive line has been pretty solid. I mean, two of our top PFF, our top five PFF performers were on the defensive line this week. Levi Enrique and Lee McNeil. So I think that we are still in a decent place. Of course, I would love to see us get a more established and proven threat, because it is such a edge by committee right now. But I mean, we fared pretty well last week, even with Josh Pascal, who's merely a depth guy. He was out as well. So we Isaiah Thomas had a forced fumble. Had a fumble recovery last week, and it just seems like a guy named Isaiah Thomas in Detroit just it's only fitting, and it's good juju to have a guy like that on the team. But I don't know. Yeah, I would like to see something. I would like to see something more, more than what we've done outside of kind of picking out of the trash, which is what they often say that Brad Holmes does. But I think that we could. I think that we could be fine. Broderick Martin is coming off the IR. His 21-day window is opening, and obviously we haven't seen much of him. But any signs of getting more healthy is going to be favorable in my eyes.
Okay, sounds fair. Sounds fair. I won't dispute that at all. I'll just leave it at that. I just wish something would have happened if it was going to happen. I think the Lions will stand pat and roll what they got. Dave,
I keep hearing about Zadarius Smith
I hear about
wants to
it.
come your way.
I've
Why
heard about-
doesn't you guys pull a trigger? It's only
I've
going to
heard-
be for a rental.
The problem is, I heard this a week ago. It hasn't happened. You know what I'm saying? Usually if you're playing for a team and you say the things you say on camera, manager's like, let's get him out of here. If you don't want to be here,
And
you're
the Browns
opening-
need all the draft capital they can
need the
get. 'Cause
draft
they're going to
capital they
fire
can-
everybody.
Why hasn't it been done? If it's going to be done, I just don't think it's going to happen.
Because we're still smoking teams by 40 points, I guess.
And I mean, that's cool. I'm fine with whatever they choose. I've not trusted Brad Holmes since he's been here, and he's proved me wrong every time.
Outside of all his draft picks. But
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, just for the reality of it, for me, from what I see, I don't think there's going to be anything to happen. And I'm not saying it's something that needs to happen. I'm saying what I would like to happen, as opposed to what I think is going to happen. And I think the Lions stand pat, and I don't think they make any moves whatsoever as far as acquiring a defensive end. I think they should, but I don't think they are. I don't know.
I think Zadarius Smith would help you guys.
I think so too. I think anytime you go out and you can get a starter defensive end after losing both of your starters, it's going to help. Like it's going to help.
I almost don't even count Marcus Davenport as a starter. He started one game?
2.
Was it 2? He was hurt. He was hurt for one game. So yeah, maybe
that second game, but he was back to third.
He's back to third. So we started. Yes,
but
we started.
The thing is about that though, he earned a starting position though, boss.
Did he even practice? I feel like he was hurt for most of the training camp. I could be wrong.
He was your starting defensive end on week 1 when he was available, and he was the starting defense. He's a starter, bro.
I think by default because
I don't know what it was. I don't know why. I can't go in that. I can't go. If it's by default, what does that mean?
That means that they handed it to him. They handed it to him off the strength of his potential. But I don't think he played much in training.
But he played very well in the first game, so I can't say he got it by default. He played very well in the games.
No, and the games he played last season with the Vikings, he was outstanding.
So I don't want to say it
was like 4 games.
Because I don't know, but I think when he was there, he played pretty well. So I don't know. I just think you can honestly say without any debate that you lost 2 starters you lost 2 defensive end starters.
You did.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, if you want to discredit him for not playing in every game, that's one thing, but he was penciled in as a starter. Well, and that's just what it is. We've gone over an hour, man. We want to go ahead and wrap this up. We want to remind the people where you can find your show at, Dave.
Vikings First and Skol. Whether it's YouTube, whether it's on the Fans First Sports Network, whether it's your favorite podcast aggregator, heck, we're even on Facebook, on Twitter, Vikings First and Skol. You can find us talking Vikings all the time. And maybe this is a magical season. We'll find out. Join us.
Hey.
You get your Chicago sports coverage at the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel. That's on YouTube. The podcast under the same name is on Amazon Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, wherever else you get your podcast fix from. Tomorrow, look out for that Week 9 preview. Bears versus Arizona Cardinals. We still got some bad taste in our mouths. We got to get out. So you don't want to miss that episode, as well as our Bulls post-game wrap-ups and all the rest. Check us out wherever, like I said, on YouTube and wherever else you get your podcasts.
And I want to say for us, follow us. You can subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube for starters. We're trying to get to 200 subscribers, so please, let's get those subscribers up. I've been saying that for a long time. We should have been past 200. And for those same podcast aggregators, just follow us, Bleachers and Speakers, FFSN. Make sure you download those episodes. Foster, you can also talk about your shows, and you can talk about the show you've been doing since I've been on vacation, because the Pistons won a game. You can tell them where you can find that at.
Yeah, so audio-wise, you can find the Pistons coverage on Post Game Podcast. We have a brand new Central Division version that our first episode was on Monday.
Very good show too. I got a chance to listen to a very good show. Pay got us in the mix with something good there. So
absolutely, and the World Series that has concluded, so we are officially into the off season, like fully into the off season of the major leagues. So me and Coach will have a show soon because there's some roster moves to be made, because we got the Rule 5 draft and the winter meeting.
Foster been having problems for a minute.
Yeah, my phone, I always lose connection when I hear the word meeting as well. It's something about that word.
Let's just, this is a good place to stop. So, what do they say in Vikings land there, Dave?
Always Skol Vikings.
And I'm almost dreaded to pay the same thing, but I'm going to ask you, what do they say in Chicago?
Listen, the clause up is on permanent vacation until they earn it back. So we're just going to say bear down.
All right. And all I have to say is, that was a vicious roar. I like that. That was pretty good this time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
Get your lick back. If a nigga fuck you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your